Thank you for joining this lesson. We're going to study partial variations, and we're going to follow the question which was set in the year 2015 KCSE paper 2 number 21. So the question says that a quantity P varies partly as the square of M and partly as N. So to interpret that portion of the question, we are told that P varies as M squared, the square of M, and partly as N. So this means P, we can introduce an equal sign, then a constant here like K, M squared, plus another constant like C times N. So we have two constants. So where K and C are constants. Then we proceed with the question. We are told further that when P is 3.8, so we substitute where we have P, we put 3.8. Then we are told that M equals to 2. So M squared, which will be 4 times K, and C equals to -3. So -3 times C, which means this equation will be 3.8 equals to 4K, because we squared 2, minus 3C. That one can be called equation 1. Then we are further told that when P is -0.2, then M is going to be 3. We square 3 because M has to be squared. That will be 9 times K, plus we have N equals to 2. So 2 times C. So this is another equation. Another equation 2, which says that -0.2 equals to 9K plus 2C. So now with two equations, we can solve them simultaneously to obtain C and K. To solve them simultaneously, we can express the value of C in the second equation, whereby we will have 2C equals to -0.2 minus 9K, which means C is going to be -0.1 minus 4.5K. That is when we divide it through by 2. So what we have as C in the first equation can now be replaced by -0.1 and -4.5K. So the first equation can be rewritten as 3.8 equals to 4K minus 3. Instead of C, we can have -0.1 minus 4.5K. And opening these brackets, we're going to get 4K positive 0.3, positive because -3 by -0.1 becomes 0.3 positive. -3 by -4.5 becomes positive 13.5K. So this means we can take 0.3 to this side, such that we have 3.5 equals to, when we add 4 to 13 we get 17.5K. So which means we can remain with K by dividing 3.5 with 17 and this gives us 0.2. So K is 0.2, and after getting K as 0.2, now we can substitute to get C, such that C will be -0.1 minus 4.5, 0.2. So this means this is going to be -0.1 minus 0.9. So when we subtract 0.1, we are going to get -1. So C is -1 and K is 0.2. Back to our question, we are told to find the equation that connects P, M, and N. So the equation that connects P, M, and N is this here, but now we have to write it now with known constants, such that the equation is P equals to, instead of Km, we've known what K is, so 0.2 m squared. Then the other C is -1. So -1 multiplied by n. -1 multiplied by n. So this is going to be the equation connecting P, m, and n. P, m, and n. This is the general equation. After that, we were to find the value of P when m is 10 and n 4. When m is 10 and n 4, we find P. So we're going to say that P equals to 0.2 into 10 squared minus n. N is 4. So this will be 100. 0.2 by 100, we get 20 minus 4. This gives us 16. Then finally, we are told to do what? Express m in terms of P and n. M in terms of P and n means we make m the subject of this relationship. M in terms of P and n. So we can remain with 0.2 m squared, and we have P added with n, because when we take n to the other side, it will be positive. Then now after that, to remain with m squared, we can have P plus n out of 0.2, and to remain with m, we take the square root of P plus n out of 0.2. So that is an expression of m in terms of P and n, making m the subject of the formula. We have another part which says, part C, which says that if P and n are increased each by 10%, find the percentage increase in m. Correct total decimal places. So this is the original m. We can get a new m, whereby n and p each has been increased by 10%, such that now we are taking the square root of a p which is 110%, which means 1.1 of the original p plus 1.1 of the original n instead of n. So instead of p, we have 1.1p. Instead of n, 1.1n out of 0.2. So 0.2 remains the way it is because it is just a constant. So for us to get percentage change, we are going to take the new value minus the old value, the new m minus the old m out of the old m. And this means now we will take the square root of 1.1p plus 1.1n out of 0.2. We subtract p plus n out of 0.2 square root. Then we divide with p plus n out of 0.2. And this means now we can take out the square root of p plus n out of 0.2. And this will leave us with 1.1 plus 1.1, then minus 1, and everything divided by 1. Because we have the square root of p plus n over 0.2 also factored out in the denominator. And this means we have a square root there. This means these ones are going to cancel out. And we will have 1 plus 1 minus 1. 1.1 plus 1.1 minus 1, giving us 1.2 out of 1. 1.2 divided by 1, which is just equal to 1.2. So if it is 1.2, then we can now calculate percentage increase in M. Percentage increase, which is going to be 1.2 times 100. This is going to be 120%. With 120% increment, because it is positive, it's going to be 120% increment. So that is how we do the question. Thank you for following. Subscribe to this channel and share the link.